ready to goddamn on slap the living. Ooh! Have y'all ever had a day you want to slap the living out of somebody, boy? Ooh, Lord. It's just one of them days when I want to uppercut you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Shake it off, boy. Shake it off. Oh man, I've been on the phone all day long. My eyes hurt, my nose hurt. Ah. Yo, where you at, Kwame? Man, Jesus Christ. Oh man. I think I'm gonna throw my phone in the drawer for the rest of the day. But I gotta have my phone. No, I can't. I'm too stressed out for a pop quiz right now. Maybe in a second. I just gotta gather my thought. This make me want to go get a shot of E&J. I don't even drink E&J. Well, salute to y'all, man. I had me a great nap earlier today. And then I literally been on the phone for the last probably about 4 hours. 3. It's freaking crazy. You look into my life and see what I see and my Mary J. Blige's voice. Man, God dang, man. Whew. Yeah, take my pop quiz for me. Because I had to smoke while I was on the phone. So I'm already a little toasted. I need me some coffee. Prayer for Memphis, man. Yeah, what happened in Memphis? Shit, prayers up to Memphis. But you know what? I feel like making somebody mad just because I had a long, stressed out day. I apologize for being late, guys. I didn't know I was gonna be on the phone that long. But I just feel like making somebody mad. Man, the NBA way better now, boy. If I can do moves like this, man, I'll go back to the league. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, dribble. Man, I'm trying to tell you. Boy, I wish I could go back to the league where I could just do this. KB, bro, you always late. Man, I don't know, man. I'm just one black man trying to be a contractor, a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a guy on YouTube. But man, I really wish I can go back to the league though. Cause boy, look at here. If we could do this right now, I'm talking about man. If this the type of stuff we could do right now, I need to go back. I need to go back. And the dude, like, look here, man, what the y'all wonder why people get so frustrated. Hey, look, he's so nonchalant, act like he ain't do nothing. He forgot he was playing basketball. He forgot he was playing basketball, man. Westbrook did the same shit. Yeah, they all do it. They just be carrying the hell out the ball. I saw Durant cross over and had the ball on his hip with his hand up underneath it. And then he snatched the crossover over the top. I said, God damn. I know that boy cold, but Jesus, Jesus. Being cold and you could do this, that makes for the most points ever scored in the league. Like he actually cold. Like the man can hoop. I ain't saying he can't hoop. But to be able to hoop and to be able to get away with this type of shit, you know how cold you could be? You could lead the league in scoring. This motherfucker like, oh shit, Savannah, what you say? Oh shit, what? I'm back on the court. Diddy, what you want me to do? Oh shit, I'm playing basketball. I'm just saying, man, I'm not taking away from his greatness. He can hoop. But if you can add on top that he can hoop, plus the referees will let you do this shit, this will lead you to be the greatest scorer of all time. Nah, he can hoop now. That some bitch get in transition. He something hell to deal with. Fast as lightning, strong. He started just flopping shit as he got old. But being cold and can get away with this, and you can't guard nobody like this. Hey, Gil, do that dude Shy. You can't guard Shy no more. Shy from Oklahoma, he gonna beat you up with like a battering ram. He uses his forearms like bats. He just boom. He run into them little point guards with his forearm and bat their ass off. And then if he can't bat them off, then he'll double backstop jump and then spin around. I say, what the hell? I say, good googly moogly. What kind of play is this? I don't understand it, but you know, these people play flawless basketball though. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, dog. I'm just saying, dog. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find this one, man. Hold on. Hey, man, y'all don't. Hey, listen here, man. I'm just having fun, man. I'm just laughing. All right. I had a bad day, and this shit make me laugh. I'm sorry. Cause the lies that be told, it just make me laugh. Damn, I can't see what this say. Hold on. And then we gonna get into the content, man. It's a lot going on. It is a lot going on. I can't keep looking at this shit. Oh man, this shit's so funny, man. I hope y'all find the humor that I found in it. Some of y'all might get mad because y'all jokers always mad. How y'all day going? Did y'all have a good day? I seen TJ having a heck of a day, boy. TJ had me dying laughing. I was laying down. That's what I was listening to before I fell asleep. I was listening to TJ cut up. Yeah, so who said they flagged me again? All these jokers lied about flagging TJ. Kev, you did all that talk about how you don't play. How you do Hey Kev, do you play now? Cause you was up here bragging about how you don't play. Told you don't play with my team. Everything that I say, do you want to recant any of that stuff, Kev? Everything that I say happens. Everything. What I told you, boy. You can't mess with my team. When my team do something and say something, you can't mess with me. Boy, you were talking big, boy. And then my brother went bigger. My day is going great. Top man, good. Salute to that. Yeah, my brother his day went bigger than yours, boy. Now we're gonna check this out, man. We're gonna check out some of this ball handling. He ain't got no holes in his game. I ain't say that. He said that. Let's check this shit out. Ooh, 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 ooh. Get funky. Ooh, get funky with it. But come bring your ass here, boy. Oh, get it, get it. Boy, you finna get your ass toned up, boy. Come here, boy. What I say, boy? Holy shit. Ain't no holes in this boy game. Hey, you mean dribble off my ass. Oh, okay. Ain't no hole. Yeah, dance with it. Dance with it. Yeah, you don't want nothing to do with this shit. Oh, it's all right. Back up, back up. Everybody spread out. Yeah, space this shit out. LeBron say, hey LeBron, you too funny, man. He got a sense of humor, boy. I told him he need to learn how to laugh at himself. And he doing it now. He said that shit as a joke. He ain't got no holes in his game. That's a goddamn joke. So I'm gonna laugh with the king. Look at this shit. Way back in Cleveland, niggas just taking them cookies. Come on, man. This is a joke. He couldn't have been serious, but he ain't got no holes in his game. So yeah, back that shit up. Oh, okay. Yeah, little nigga, you think you can fuck with a king? Huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You almost got me. Don't worry about it. Yeah, yeah. Hold up. Reset, reset. Come on, boy. Yeah, watch this. Watch this. Watch this razzle dazzle. Oh shit. Hey, I like that backup dribble. He don't be on the ball a lot. I like when he back up dribble like that. When he back up dribble, he mean business, boy. He'll throw that shit between the legs the same way. He back up and turn in the ruck apart. Man, this motherfucker think he motherfucker. He must think what's my boy Jamal Crawford? He must think he Jamal Crawford or something. You better stop trying to play and one basketball and just run up somebody over. He turned into Jamal Crawford right here. Look at this shit. Oh yeah. Jamal ain't the only one can do this shit. Oh yeah, yeah. Hold up, nigga. Yeah, Jamal Crawford style. Hold on, boy. Rucker Park. He's standing up straight as hell. Rucker Park. Oh, oh, oh shit. That man ain't got no look at T Luke. That man ain't got no holes in his game. Come on, man. Now y'all know that man was joking. And you can't have no holes in your way. You can't have no holes in your game when you just this perfect. When you could goddamn walk on water, you can walk on the court and walk. You just travel anywhere you want to go. You can walk on water like this. You perfect. This is why the referees don't call it on him because he perfect. You know what I mean? So you can just walk on water and just do what you want to do. You know what I mean? What you don't do. So shit. Uh huh. It is what it is. Anybody got something to say about it? You know? The king has spoken. I think it's quite hilarious, but hey, and we got Rich Paul putting up every narrative that he can think of, boy. And I tell you what, you goddamn YouTubers, y'all stop bumping y'all gums. Come off YouTube. I'm tired of this shit. I challenge you, mother truckers. I'm challenging anybody that's on YouTube, this fake YouTube smoke. I'm tired of this shit, man. We do this shit Indian style. What's up? What y'all want to do? Oh, you don't know what Indian style is? Fuck it. It ain't no talking involved. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no talking involved. Just get it in. Ain't no more talking. What's up? Who want to try it? You know what I'm saying? Slap each other till one fall out. You know what I'm saying? Come off YouTube. What you don't do. Don't nobody get hurt like this. Ain't even no hits to the face. You know? Come on with it. Indian style. That's why there's so many Indian men in the world. Yeah, throw his ass out. Yeah. Now what's up? All that talking. Yeah. Uh, uh, uh. I can see me slapping one of you YouTubers to the ground right now. WWE style. This fool don't have a right to criticize anybody. He was terrible. But if I'm terrible, then what are you? You don't have a right to critique me. You don't have a right to critique terrible. Now that gotta be bad. If you can't even critique terrible. Cause boy, I'll be like a goddamn on Michael Jordan compared to you, boy. And that's facts. And that's facts. Now you come on off YouTube, boy, and get in this slap ring right here, boy. Slap. Come on. Come on. Stop all that talking. Slap your chest off. I'll slap your chest off your chest. I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to feel like I can smoke me one. Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little better now. Sure is. Mm-hmm. Man caught choking his chicken in Planet Fitness woman's bathroom. What the hell? Jesus. But y'all, we got to get into this video. We got to get into this video first. Because Maduro pled not guilty. And hey, check this out. I think somebody put out a theory on Instagram, I think, that Maduro is smiling going to jail. They like, look, why he smiling like that when he going to jail? They think that because he put it out there, he said, think about it. Somalia, I mean not Somalia, I'm looking at two things at one time. But where is he from? Venezuela. Venezuela is the country that made the voting machines, allegedly. The Dominion and the little voting machines that they made, those machines allegedly came from Venezuela. And this guy that they captured him into some drug situation, allegedly. Well, that's what they stated. But don't you think Trump and Pam Bondi, they'd cut a deal with this guy if he tell them if there was any election fraud or if he tell them anything about the 2020 election? Because those machines came from Venezuela, allegedly. So I think this maybe calls for the Democrats to panic if they have this guy in custody that really want to get his wife out of jail, really want to get himself out of jail. He may not have to tell on his own people. He may not have to tell on the narcos or whatever. They may not even give a shit about his drugs. Y'all said the CIA is allegedly the biggest drug dealers. So they may not give a crap about the drugs. They may just want to know who were the players allegedly a part, if any, a part of a voter fraud scheme in the election. I mean, that would be smart. I don't think Trump is a dumb guy. He figures out a way not to pay taxes. That would be crazy chess move if true. I mean, Trump has been pulling off chess moves on these people the whole time. They can't stand him, but he's been suing news organizations that say things about him and winning. Um, he's been overturning some of these cases that they had against him and winning. Um, yeah, I believe it's a twofold. They got resources now in Venezuela, and then now they also will be able to understand what happened in the election, and that is big. And he tired of China, Russia, and Iran getting the oil. Oh yeah, he'll be able to. It's a twofold situation. We'll be able to control the oil, and if there's any information that he can give now that he's on that hot seat, they'll let him go home tomorrow if he give up information on who did what. They'll be like, "Oh, nothing to see here, cleared." But let's see what they saying on Fox, and then of course we're gonna see what they saying on CNN. We want to get both sides of the coin. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone's opinion, right, left, or either way. My thing is get out information. Some people don't even watch other news organizations because I don't know if it hurts their feelings. I don't know what happens to them, but they can't even watch just to get both sides of the coin. There's a head and a tail in every situation.
Constitutional law attorney, what do you think of the argument where Maduro, he said this yesterday, I am innocent, I am not guilty I am a decent man, the constitutional president of my country. And the judge said, just wait, slow your roll. There's time to talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what is more debatable, that he's a decent man or the president of his country, but I'll go with the latter one. There are 50 countries that disagree with his statement that he has ever been the president of that country. He took over the country after losing an election. And he's in an even worse position than his predecessor, Noriega, who also made the same claim, claimed that he was the head of state, and lost across the board on various levels. So that dog won't hunt for Maduro, very likely. I expect he's going to lose these threshold claims. A lot of pundits and politicians have been saying that his arrest is unlawful. Well, I think the administration is saying, bring it on. You're in a very good jurisdiction for Democrats, obviously. It's not a good place for Trump historically. This judge has been very critical of Trump in the past. So we'll see how that works out. But I got to tell you, I do not expect that he will be successful in these challenges.
A couple things here. Go back to Pam Bondi last night with Sean. We played one clip. Here's another about the law enforcement function there.
And this was well within the president's Article 2 powers. It was a law enforcement function to arrest indicted individuals in Venezuela. Our military pulled off a flawless execution of that. It was amazing. And Sean, America and the Western Hemisphere is safer tonight.
So you match that with what the Wall Street Journal editorial board pens this morning. The international law illusion in Venezuela. The rogues of the world break all the rules only to deploy them against law-abiding democracies as a way to continue in their lawlessness, which you hear from a lot of people on the left. They're saying, this was a violation of international law. By the way, what we found out yesterday for Noriega, it took 20 months to get to trial. The trial lasted 7 months, all total 30 months from his capture to his conviction. Is that what?
I think Colombia is next. They want that cocaine. Salute to you, Mel Dub. 20 months. 20 months. But they're saying that the Pam Bondi is saying that this was all legit, saying that Article 2 was cool, but our American people and CNN can't seem to accept that. They're saying that it's illegal, even though you have the Fed saying this is not illegal. So who do you believe?
We're in for?
Yes, but I think it's going to be even more difficult. I've been on the defense side in the past in classified national security cases. And I got to tell you, it's like invading Russia in winter. I mean, the minute you're designated as the cleared counsel, as I've been in those cases, you sit in a little metal room called a SCIF, and you go through each of those documents. And as defense counsel, you're going to want to see them, and you're going to challenge them. These are documents that were gathered, evidence that was gathered for national security purposes, not with a prosecution in mind. So it takes a long time. So we're not going to see a jury at least for a year. If we have a trial within a year, it will be a truly impressive pace. But in terms of the case against Maduro, keep in mind that the indictment here is really crushing. Among other evidence that could very well come forward, you're going to have testimony potentially of his former head of military intelligence who confessed to being part of a drug cartel with Maduro. That's pretty devastating type of testimony that could be coming out.
There's so many things to ask about. One of them, I do want to ask about something in regards to what the Wall Street Journal editorial board was saying. You have countries in the region saying that they support the action. And then yesterday at the UN Security Council, you had France complaining. And I wonder about
others.
Those, well, yeah, the others did too, but I just noticed, okay, France, sit down.
Well, France, I thought was with you, Dana. I thought that was quite notable. After we snatched Noriega, France asked to prosecute him. And so they previously not only did not object to Noriega being captured, they actually relied on that capture for their own criminal prosecutions. Now, much of this cocaine coming out of Venezuela was going to France and the rest of Europe. So it's a little bit incoherent as to the position of France today as opposed to the position before. But, you have a real division here. You've got House Democrats and House Senate members on the Democratic side who are not objecting to the capture. Lawrence Jones actually just got Senator Shaheen just less than an hour ago to say that she does not object to the capture of Maduro. He asked point blank, should we have not captured Maduro? And she said no. She's just worried about the aftermath. So there's much more division here than it may appear.
That's a very fair point there. Quickly, a story that got way overlooked, and I think we have to give it its proper due. In Cincinnati over the weekend, J.D. Vance's home was apparently ransacked or broken into. A guy guy with a hammer. Here's what he said on X. That's the home. He said, as far as I can tell, a crazy person tried to break in by hammering the windows. I'm grateful to the Secret Service and Cincinnati police for responding quickly. So here is the suspect, age 26, William DeFore, back in April of 23, charged with trespassing at the UC.
See? Now look at this. They're taking these regular, innocent people and turning them people into criminals from what the rhetoric that they're saying in the news. What would make this boy try to hammer into J.D. Vance's home? What was his plan? Was he going to try to unalive the vice president? Like, how did he even get that close to J.D. Vance's home? So you telling me somebody can walk up to J.D. Vance's home and hit his home with a hammer? J.D. Vance, you better get a better Secret Service.
Health Psychiatric Emergency Services, 2024, charged with 2 counts of vandalism, breaking windows at a business in Hyde Park, which is a local community there. October of 2024, Hamilton County Court granted mother legal guardianship. There might be a question about his mental state. It sort of reminded me about the hammer incident in San Francisco with Nancy Pelosi's husband. I'm not making a connection there. I'm just saying there might be a similarity. Just a quick thought on, by the way, Vance's family was not home. They had been there for the weekend, and we're back in Washington, D.C. by then.
You know, Bill and Dana, we've talked about this on the show before. I mean, what this really shows us is that there are these individuals out there who hear the rage rhetoric coming from the left. It also can come from the right. But those people who are trafficking in rage are feeding this addiction. And there are these people, like DeFore, who will take that as a license, that these are people who are on a hair trigger. And we have to really call these politicians and pundits to account to say, knock it off. We've got to reduce the rage in this country and get back to debating.
All right, Jonathan Turley, great way to kick us off today on this busy day as the fallout continues. Thank you so much.
So now back to what we're learning about. Hey.
And that's a fact. They got to stop indoctrinating these kids with this rage bait and making it seem like everything Trump is doing is so wrong and so illegal. If you're telling people that the president is a criminal and he's illegal and everything he's doing is wrong, and these young people start thinking that they're patriots, these young people start thinking that they're doing something right for America, you're indoctrinating these kids to do the wrong thing. You're definitely indoctrinating these kids to do the wrong thing. Hold on, I thought I went over here to the video. Yes, this is 2.0 Moonlight. We got Girly Man JD Vance. Not JD Vance, sorry. We got Girly Man Tim Waltz. Sorry, JD Vance. We already know he's a military guy. In real life, salute to you, bro. Hey man, you had some fun today, boy, having them jokers mad as I don't know what. And hey, this boy does such a crybaby. He tagging everybody into stuff on his community wall. Oh, do you think this is okay? Like, oh, crybaby. But anyway, let's go up here to the new video where no stone unturned. Tim Waltz is running for cover. He is ducking the smoke. He is not running for governor anymore. He, I believe, had some direct or some close involvement in all of this fraud and abuse that's been going on with the federal tax.
That I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election.
Minnesota Governor Tim Waltz today ending his run for a third term as governor. The former Democratic vice presidential nominee has come under a hail of pressure over what the feds call staggering fraud in his home state that could total $9 billion in fraudulent expenditures of U.S. taxpayer money. House Oversight Committee Chair Jim Comer saying, quote, though Tim Waltz is not running for governor again, he cannot run from accountability. The House Oversight Committee demands that he appear for a public hearing on February 10th to expose this fraud and begin the process of accountability. With that, we bring in Minnesota House Fraud Committee Chair, Republican Kristen Robbins, who's set to testify on Capitol Hill on Wednesday. She is also running for governor. Kristen, welcome. Good to have you here. Were you surprised by Tim Waltz's decision, and what does it do to the race for governor of Minnesota?
We were not surprised. It has become increasingly clear that Tim Walz is going to run from the accountability that he deserves for allowing this massive scale of fraud in our state. And so we'd heard rumors of this for quite a while. And I'm not surprised. The more we look into it, the increasing number of programs of fraud, the scale of it is staggering, and he just cannot defend his record. And neither will any of his handpicked successors.
Yeah, let's put some of these numbers up in terms of the $9 billion of alleged fraudulent schemes, what the funds were supposed to be for on the left-hand side, feeding children, helping recovering addicts, helping disabled adults. But that money, it appears, went to wire transfers to China and East Africa, luxury real estate, luxury vacations. Do you think that you will see Governor Walz held accountable for his governorship in terms of how he was overseeing where this money was going in the state that he was running?
I expect so. Our committee is going to have continued oversight hearings. The federal government is holding oversight hearings. I know the federal partners at DOJ are doing additional investigative work. So we will not leave any stone unturned to try to get Minnesotans' money back and to hold everyone responsible for this fraud who has to be held accountable.
Well, it's really a lesson in following the money and making sure you know where it's going. And I think it's probably a lesson that could be felt in a lot of states.
How convenient. He can't focus on running for office. He can no longer focus on running for office. This guy this is supposed to be a military man. You're supposed to be able to multitask. You're supposed to be able to stand on business. What are you running for? Where are you going? He blaming everybody else but himself. Do you hear this guy? They got another video that just came up about him. They got another video that just came up about this clown.
Any minute now, Minnesota Democratic Governor Tim Walz will answer questions about his decision to end his re-election campaign. He broke the news yesterday after weeks of the feds turning the screws on his state in the wake of a multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme. He claims he's been hard at work addressing the fraud since it was discovered years ago, prompting critics to ask if he was trying to stop it, then how did it spiral out of control? The Washington Post editorial board writing this, Walz has insisted that he was focused all along on cleaning up fraud. If that's true, he's really bad at cleaning up fraud because the problem exploded under his governorship. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno here with my co-host, Harris Faulkner. And also joining us today, Rosanna Scotto, Fox 5 New York anchor and host of The Underground Economy on Fox Nation, Lisa Booth, Fox News political analyst, and Paul Morrow, attorney, retired NYPD inspector, and Fox News contributor. Now, Governor Walz blamed Republicans for the situation yesterday. Watch.
If Republicans continue down the path of abusing power, smearing entire communities, and running their own fraudulent game at the expense of Minnesotans, I will fight back with everything that I have. Minnesota has always come first and always will. I'm focused on making sure that we stay America's best place to live and raise kids. No one will take that away from us.
Shit, if I knew I can open up a daycare in Minnesota, don't really have to have no kids in there. I'm tall and black. I can get my curly hair on and say I'm Somali, and you can run 4, 5 million or 7 million through there every year. Hell, Minnesota will be great for me too. Shoot, we'll all move to Minnesota.
But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Trump believes Walz could be criminally liable.
President Trump has been calling out Tim Walz for his incompetence and corrupt leadership for a very long time. And Trump was right about everything. This is another example of that, which is why Governor Walz is dropping out of the race for re-election today. This is a man who can no longer even win the support of the voters within his home state because his policies have failed them.
Now, welfare fraud isn't just a problem in Minnesota. It's been thrust into the national spotlight. A former WWE wrestler has been indicted in the Mississippi welfare fraud scandal, accused of embezzling almost $4 million in state welfare funds. The case is part of a much larger fraud investigation. The Trump administration is sending a clear message aimed at stopping similar schemes, freezing $10 billion in funding to 5 blue states.
Ooh, whoa, goodness, more Christmas. Trump ain't playing, boy. Trump administration cuts off $10 billion in federal funding to 5 blue states for child care social service. California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York. Oh my goodness. Ooh, whoa. Boy, Trump ain't messing around,
Over fears of childcare and social services fraud. Paul Morrow, a lot to unpack. My question to start out with you is, have we seen the worst of it, or is the worst yet to come?
Worse is yet to come, because once you get into the discovery, you start pulling all the paperwork and so on, you start to see what really went on, and it's always ugly when you see how the sausage was made. Let's make a couple of distinctions here. First of all, my understanding is right now 16 federal investigations ongoing.
He says it's always ugly when you see how the sausage is made. Yeah, when you got to put it in that casing and that wrap it in that beef or that collagen and it grind up. That's a nasty looking thing there, boy. And it's going to be nasty how they see how they grind it up, this American tax dollars, and passed it out to the Somalians. The same Somalians that talk down on our people and make it seem like we just don't know how to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. We just ain't nothing while they just spending tax dollars.
Including some that were begun well before this story broke, all right? Let's make this distinction relative to Minnesota. If you look at who's been investigating, and I want to be fair here, the DOJ under Biden was investigating this. In fact, the U.S. Attorney for Minnesota came out and said at one point, we have a fraud problem here in Minnesota. What's the distinction? Well, the feds were investigating. Who was not investigating? The state, the people that were closest to it, who should have had a better window into it. Waltz, Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. The Attorney Generals love to say, I'm the top law enforcement agent in my state. But when it comes to law enforcement, they don't do anything. Why was the state complicit or incompetent when the feds actually went at it? Because the state were the people who had the most to gain, because they wanted the Somali votes. So as a result, they let all of this happen again, either.
Now, for all the people that's talking about, we a nation of immigrants, we are this, we are that. Now, we letting all these people over here, right? What else will we let people get away with for a fucking vote? What else will we let these groups get away with for a vote? Think about it. What else will they sell you up the river for? All they care about is votes.
Complicit or incompetent. Waltz, the only way he's going to be criminally liable, in my estimation, is if you see somehow or other he got some sort of a donation because he looked the other way. Otherwise, it's going to be tough to bring criminal charges. You can have an intent issue. But Ellison met with the Feeding Our Future people. They were not to be indicted yet, but they were under investigation. And he let that skate. He said, I'm siding with you guys. They were later indicted. And by the way, he got, I think it's $15,000 to $20,000 donations from that group in the subsequent 2 weeks, including money that went to his son, who was running for the assembly up there, the local assembly that governs St. Paul, Minneapolis. My point is, when you start to see that sort of tit for tat, it's an allegation. That's all it is. That has to be looked at. I spoke to Bill Glahn, who is a fellow at the Center for the American Experiment in Minnesota. He worked for Palenti. He had a window. He's the guy who found the audio tape. There's an audio tape of that meeting, and he put it out. Nobody else was interested. I had him on my podcast. I don't do this too much when I talk about it. The Ops Desk. I'm going to drop it this week. He laid it all out. Ellison's got trouble.
I think part of the reason, Harris, that everything is so shocking, too, is because of how obvious it was and how now as we're learning how much whistleblowing was being ignored. We have a shot we'll play for you right now. It's Nick Shirley calling out the hypocrisy of the so-called learning centers. They can't even get the title right. Let's watch.
Quality Learning Center. This is the meme that has gone totally viral. And I mean, clearly it's because of the hypocrisy. You have a daycare that's receiving millions of dollars of taxpayer funds, federal funds, and they can't even spell learning right.
Their logic has been literally broken. And if you ask them, well, you're supporting $1.9 million going to this daycare and they can't even spell learning right, she just looks you stone cold in the face and has no response because she knows she can't justify it, but she has to keep yelling just to keep going to convince herself that she's doing the right thing.
And you can catch that full episode tomorrow with Riley Gaines' new podcast. But Harris, he's absolutely right. It's egregious.
Okay, it's also everywhere. For some reason, my 16-year-old's algorithms brought up that on the tail end of our vacation. She said, Mom, those people where you used to work and cover them on the news when they were breaking the law in Minnesota can't spell learning. I'm like, where are you getting this from? No, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's the Learning Center. That's when you know they don't care nothing about hiding it. They don't gotta hide it. They had to have some protection up top. Who tries to have a learning center and spell it Learning Center when you know you taking a bunch of money in? You gotta at least spell it right. Somebody had to say when they put that sign up and it was like, oh, we're open. You mean to tell me nobody noticed that it said Leering? Nobody in the whole group. That's crazy.
And because it is, what you said is so right. So Chairman Comer of the House Oversight last hour told me that their focus is on Keith Ellison.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah, he said that. And I then said, well, Waltz can run, but he can't take everybody with him. Right, because he can't protect any of the people who are left behind. But apparently there is so much going on with that trail with Ellison and others as well in that state that Comer feels like this could go on for quite some time. And their focus from a congressional standpoint will be clawing back some of the money. I mean, people were ripped off so much. Is any of it still gettable? So that will be part of it. But yeah, this whole part about the ineptitude and how sloppy they were, and are the papers out there? Did somebody take them? Can we get any of the... You've got it on tape. And I didn't know you had a podcast, but I'm watching it.
It was really revelatory, I tell you. And by the way,
Your podcast, no doubt.
A lot of the money, crypto. They knew how to hide it.
Oh, right. Of course.
Yeah, Glenn told me that as well.
Wow. But Congress is on it.
But here's the thing politically. Governor Tim Walz got fried under the national spotlight. Because I've worked in statewide campaigns in a lot of these states, particularly if you look at some of these, left-leaning purple states, and you think the mainstream media is bad when it comes to bias. Get to some of these more liberal states and particularly liberal media markets like the Minneapolis, St. Paul area media market in the state of Minnesota. They protect the liberal governor there. So Governor Walz has been protected. I mean, a lot of these audits were flagged predating Governor Walz's time as governor, but as soon as Kamala Harris picked him as the VP, that was the demise and the end of his political career. Because what also came under scrutiny was his handling of the George Floyd riots. The fact that there was $500 million worth of damage in the state of Minnesota. You have 1,500 properties damaged, that he allowed a police precinct to be overrun.
$500 million worth of damage? Allowing a police precinct to be overrun. And this man said this is a place that you can raise your kids. The police can be overran in Minnesota, but that's a place for us to raise our kids. How does that make any sense? $500 million in property damage. Meaning if I had a business or a storefront or a home, then BLM felt like burning it down, my house or my business would have been a part of that damage. Nah, that's not a good place to live.
His stolen valor, all those different things that he had lied about as well. And then now this fraud scandal as well. So this was the demise, the national spotlight, when people started paying attention to what he was doing. Also, we're talking about different buckets of fraud as well. You've got the Feeding Our Future fraud, you've got the Medicaid fraud, the housing fraud, the child care fraud. So I think this, his decision to not run for re-election, clearly legal culpability there. And then just realizing that this is the end of the road for him as this continues.
Rosanna, what do you
I was just thinking Minneapolis has hit after hit coming after it. I mean, now the Wall Street Journal is talking about what happened with ICE agents, right?
That's right.
The president of the United States talking about now sending in ICE agents to do a little bit more investigative work. And then you find out this hotel in Lakeville decides that on their own, they're not going to allow the ICE agents to stay there. They have documentation. They share it with everybody. Hilton is now coming out with a statement saying, hey, this is a franchise. It's not us. But, you know, the bottom line is
their franchise.
It's their franchise. And usually those people are groomed. There is somebody.
Can y'all imagine that? A state that take in federal dollars don't want federal agents to stay at their hotels? Can y'all imagine that? And they're blaming it on Trump. When Trump take away their federal funding, it'll be a Trump fault and not that they're disrespecting the federal government and federal agents. You don't deserve federal funding if you don't respect the feds. That's crazy.
Over them to kind of keep an eye on how things go. It's their name. And I'm in the hospitality business. Besides being a news person on here and on Good Day New York, my family has a restaurant. And hospitality, I mean, you can't, decide who's coming in your place and who's not, discriminate against somebody who's coming in your place. Hospitality is hospitality. Now they're saying they're blaming it on one person in the front who decided to go rogue and not let these people in. But the bottom line is the Hilton chain, because social media is all over this, going to have a Bud Light problem? You know, how do they get around this? I mean, Minneapolis has really got one problem after another.
Well, you know what? One thing relative to the hotel, no violence. All right. We are not the people who burn down Tesla dealerships. All right. So that thing is identified. People are very mad. Be adults.
The family staying in those hotels. Can I just have 1 second?
Yeah, please.
Paul? So with this idea, and I kicked out the word discrimination. I know with businesses, if you put a sign up, somehow that can indemnify you from something. But who wants to put up a sign that says we don't want to support federal workers in this environment?
Right.
I don't know. What's your take?
Somebody's going to get fired here. They're going to blame it on some rogue employee who sent out that email, and somebody will go and they'll back off of it. If it was an institutional decision, which I don't assess from Hilton, they're going to push it over to the franchise, and I have a feeling that place is going to be called something different soon.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me.
He said, I got a feeling that place is going to be called something different soon. That's what I'm talking about. I got a feeling all y'all finna have to leave here. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's see what CNN had to say about the same situations. We got Tim Waltz. CNN is about to break down what they feel about the governor ending his run.
Breaking political news out of Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz, who of course was the Democratic nominee for vice president in 2024, has ended his re-election bid for governor. He is not going to run for re-election. This comes as pressure has been growing around this widening welfare fraud scandal. Now, Walz has not been accused of any wrongdoing, but it has been a growing political headache. Let's get right to CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Seleny. This is a wow this morning, or at least would have been if you had said it was going to happen, 2 or 3 months ago?
That's right, John. Good morning. Even perhaps 2 or 3 weeks ago, the reality is Minnesota Governor Tim Walz had been insistent on running for a third term, which would have been unprecedented in and of itself. Minnesota has not elected a governor for 3 consecutive terms, but it is that deepening federal probe as well as this widening scandal. As you said, he is not implicated in this at all. This is actually somewhat old news in Minnesota. This has been going on for years and years. The prosecution started back during the Biden administration, but over the holidays, it certainly did widen. There was a right-wing influencer who posted a viral video on social media that quite literally went viral when the vice president of the United States and the FBI director leaned in on this, and it shined a brighter spotlight on really what had been some deep concerns among Minnesota Democrats, even about the wisdom of Governor Walz seeking a third term. They believe that this would hang over the entire re-election effort and perhaps even damage the Democratic Party, even though there is no suggestion suggestion that there was wrongdoing. However, this widening scandal happened on his watch. But we are getting his reasoning in a new statement this morning that's ahead of a news conference he's scheduled to hold in just a few hours. And let's take a look at one small portion of this, if we can, John. The governor writes this. He said, "As I reflected on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute I spent defending my own political interests would be a minute I can spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who prey on our differences." And the governor goes on in quite a lengthy statement, which we expect him to read at that news conference, which is going to be happening at 11 a.m. in St. Paul, Minnesota. He goes on to take direct aim at President Donald Trump and allies of the president and Republican allies who have sought to make political hay out of this, if you will. Of course, they have a lot of this fraud is coming from some leaders of the Somali population.
And so if you call out what they're doing, you're the problem. You need to chill out, bruh. You're the problem. You're bringing it up. You're highlighting it. You're dangerous. This shit crazy.
In Minneapolis and Minnesota, longstanding members of the community. And the fraud goes back to the COVID time of federal money that was sent to the state of Minnesota. It was simply misused to the tune of the billions. So dozens have already been convicted. But again, the governor is taking direct aim at President Trump over this for politicizing this entire matter.
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Like many Minnesotans, I have to tell you, I was glad to turn the page on 2025. It was an extraordinarily difficult year for our state, and it ended on a particularly sour note. For the last several years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of this state's generosity. And even as we make progress in the fight against the fraudsters, we now see an organized group of political actors seeking to take advantage of a crisis. I don't want to mince words here. Donald Trump and his allies in Washington and in St. Paul and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors. And ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in the country to raise a family. They've already begun trying to withhold funds that were meant to help families afford childcare, and they have no intention of stopping there. Make no mistake, we should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. That's why over the past few years, we've made systemic changes in the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from.
I mean, with this group, it's always somebody else. It's always what somebody else did. It's always Trump doing this to us. Such and such is doing that to us. It's never what they're doing. Why is it always what somebody else is doing? Please tell me that.
Our state, we've cut off whole streams of funding in partnership with the federal government, where we saw widespread criminal activity. We put new locks on the doors of our remaining programs, and we've hired a new head of program integrity to make sure that those locks can't be broken. All across this state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this problem. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front lines defending the integrity of our state's programs. And I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of them. There is more to do. A single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud should be intolerable. And while there's a role to play for everyone, from the legislature to prosecutors to insurance companies to local and county government, the buck does stop with me. My administration has been taking fast, decisive action to solve this crisis. We'll win the fight against the fraudsters. But the political gamesmanship we're seeing from Republicans is only making that fight harder. We've got Republicans here in the state legislature playing hide and seek with potential whistleblowers. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children. We've got the President of the United States. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares.
Breaking into the daycares. Man, this dude is a liar. That man didn't break into no daycare. He asked for a pamphlet. He asked to enroll his kid. He said the dude broke into the daycare. Golly. Zero accountability Dems.
Demanding access to our children. We've got the President of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and it's dangerous. Republicans are playing politics with the future of this state. It's shameful. And I've said it before and I will continue to say it. We welcome ideas from anyone, in any party, from any walk of life, who wants to help us continue to stay ahead of these criminals. And we welcome the involvement of the federal government. I am grateful to the career professionals at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who have been helping us fight this fight for years. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington. These opportunists are willing to hurt our people to score cheap points. They and their allies have no intention of helping us solve this problem, and every intention of trying to profit off of it. Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more of that in Minnesota. In September, I announced that I would seek a historic third term as Minnesota's governor, and I have every confidence that if I gave it my all, we would win the race. But as I reflect on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year. I'm passing on this race with zero sadness and zero regret. I did not run for this job to have the job. I ran for the job to do the job. Minnesota faces enormous challenges this year, and I refuse to spend a single minute doing anything other than rising to meet this moment. Minnesota has always come first and always will. That's what I believe servant leadership demands of me. As an optimist, I'll hold out some hope that my friends on the other side of the aisle will consider what servant leadership demands of them in the moment. We can work together to combat against the criminals. We can work together to rebuild the public's trust and make our state stronger. But make no mistake about it, if Republicans continue down the path of abusing power, smearing entire communities, and running their own fraudulent game at the expense of Minnesotans, I will fight back with everything that I have. I am absolutely confident a Democratic and a DFLer will hold this seat come November. I'm confident that I'll find ways to contribute to the state that I love long after next January. But there'll be time to worry about all that later. Today.
Now, what abuse of power? Can anybody tell me what abuse of power you talking about? Can anybody tell me what abuse of power that they're talking about? He a script reading? This is a shame. I'm leaving because Trump is abusing his power. I'm leaving because Trump and his bandits are trying to profit off Minnesota. Just exactly how they're profiting off of Minnesota. Like, this is crazy. He's a traitor to Minnesota and America. Everything is Trump's fault. Them people took all this money under his leadership, but because Trump them found out through a YouTuber, now the YouTuber broke in. The YouTuber not only broke into the daycare, but now Trump is taking advantage of it for his profit. Like, Jesus Christ.
Today, I'm proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota America's best place to live and raise kids. From our new paid leave policy to our child tax credit to our school lunch programs feeding every single child. And I'm doubly proud of the incredible team we put together to make this vision a reality. I want to take a moment to thank every member of my staff, to every single state employee who has been part of this fight. Now more than ever, I need you on the job. I need you to help work together to tackle the important work in front of us. And most of all, I want Minnesotans to know how grateful I am for the opportunity to serve this state, for the privilege that I have been given to serve in this office. I'm on the job. I'm focused on making sure that we stay America's best place to live and raise kids. No one will take that away from us. I'm proud of the way we treat our neighbors. I'm proud of the way that we welcome people to this state. I'm proud of the way that we innovate. And I'm proud of the way that we are optimists for the future. No one's taking this away from us. Not the fraudsters, certainly not this president, not on my watch.
The Trump administration.
The Somalians going to take it away. All the money you're giving them, they're going to take it away. That's easy.
Big breaking political.
Russia's war in Ukraine.
The Trump administration says it is now withholding all federal child care funding to the entire state. The agency says the state receives $185 million for 19,000 children, and now that money will be gone. And the agency did not specify any alternate plans for families who will be affected. DHS and the FBI said they were surging resources to Minnesota to investigate what they called suspected fraud sites. This all comes in response to a viral video posted by a MAGA content creator. He claims that he uncovered widespread fraud by Somali-run child care centers in the state. CNN is looking into those claims and has not independently verified the accusations. But the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services is taking the allegations at face value. Take a listen.
Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment.
However, the so-called evidence comes from a man who has posted anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant content in the past. CNN's Whitney Wild speaks to the man behind that video and takes a look at his claims.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you? This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley. Back at a daycare in Minnesota, he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
If you are going to say it's a left or right issue, but no, fraud is fraud. So I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds. Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody to be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be.
Did he break in? Did he break in, or was he looking for the right numbers to call? Because they said he broke in.
Unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a daycare.
Be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
Their doors are locked.
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Federal law enforcement has been investigating fraud in
He said, you bring up a good point. Why can't you give me information on how to enroll a child? They had nothing.
Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media they've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation. Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children, they're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the video?
So even while they were doing their investigation, they only got one person to answer. They only got one person to answer. Out of all those daycares they called, one daycare, and said that they were real. Now let's finish this.
Those, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside.
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
You know, we have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the commissioner of children literally said a week ago this place was closed. Did you know They're showing face right now.
A viral video, disputed claims, and their full fallout remains to be seen.
Dozens of fraud cases that
The place was closed a week ago. All of a sudden, kids just show up everywhere.
DOJ is touting began during the Biden administration. Back in 2022, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Minnesota announced 47 indictments for this massive fraud scheme. Since then, they've indicted more than 30 more people, and in total, they have secured at least 56 convictions. Whitney Wild, CNN, Minneapolis.
The group chat is back to talk about all of this right now. And Sarah, I want to go to you first. What do we know based on evidence?
We heard that dude talk. Let's go to this other video, this new video. They're getting Trump's, they're talking about Trump's, whether the GOP or whether Trump supporters are following him because he took this Maduro guy.
The president's actions in Venezuela would create a rift among his supporters, whether it goes against his long-held, quote, America first ideology. So what are we seeing in the polling? With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Etten. So Republicans divided about what the president's done in Venezuela?
Let me be very clear. There is no rift in the Republican Party. Yes, there are some folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie who are quite skeptical of this. They are very much in the minority. What are we talking about here? Well, why don't we just talk the GOP on the U.S. military ousting Maduro? Ipsos, 65% support, 6% opposed. How about the Washington Post poll? 74% support, just 10% opposed. If you look among 2024 Trump supporters, we're talking about 80% support. The vast, vast majority of Republicans are with Donald Trump on this issue. Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene are very much in the minority. Very few Republicans are with him.
You say they're with him on this issue. Do you even need those words, this issue?
No, I don't need the words this issue, because the bottom line is this. Donald Trump has had an iron grip on that Republican base for a long period of time, and it is the same iron grip that he had 6 months ago. I know every so often people are trying to say, oh, I spot these little rifts in the Republican base. Oh, you know, they're finally starting to break. They're starting to break from Donald Trump. It ain't happening, at least when it comes to the approval rating. Look at this. 84% 6 months ago, 85% now. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know 85% and 84% are basically the same number. In fact, 85% is 1 point higher than 84%.
Show me iron grip again. Good. Grip strength, very important for people as they get older. Now, one of the people who's been central to this operation, from the beginning, central to the policy in this entire region, is the Secretary of State Marco Rubio. How has interest in him been affected over the last few days?
Yeah, one of the ways you know that the Republican base is with the president on this issue is look at those who are, in fact, President Trump has delegated to be at least very much in charge. Just look at this. Google searches for Marco Rubio, up 575% from last month. We're talking about the second highest since he ran for president back in 2016. You know, we spoke about it last hour, how the American people view this at this point as a successful operation, considerably more so than did prior to the operation, backing, in fact, the ousting of Maduro. We now, of course, see as well that success is being pushed onto Marco Rubio as well.
And so the question is, why is this man smiling? What are the prediction markets saying about his chances to be the next Republican nominee?
Yeah, take a look here. I mean, Marco Rubio's chances to be the 2028 presidential GOP nominee. 30 days ago, it was 8%. Look at that, more than doubled, now up to 18%. It's him and J.D. Vance in a two-person field at this point. Marco Rubio definitely getting the fruits of the fact the Venezuelan operation.
Doubled in a week. All right, Harry, and thank you very much for that.
Joining me now in the group chat, Sabrina Singh, CNN Global Affairs.
Now, there was so many people coming out, giving their theories of what they think is going to happen and how, you know, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and it's a split, some sort of divide. But when you look at the numbers, there's no split, there's no divide. There's no split, there's no divide. People are happy about what Trump is doing. At least he's America first. And the sad part about it is that the other administration is so bad that Trump don't even have to be that great. They're so bad with the fraud and everything else that's on the other side. What else do you have? You either get all your tax dollars stolen and given away to the Somalians or illegal immigrants, or you have Trump at least fighting for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. You don't got to like everything he's doing, but damn, at least he's trying to give you some money.
Affairs commentator Ashley Davis, former White House official under President George W. Bush, and Lulu Garcia-Navarro, CNN contributor and host of the New York Times The Interview podcast. You guys, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Got a defense expert, Bush era expert, and Lulu, who's done a lot of reporting in Venezuela in the past. So first, I want to start with you, Sabrina. You had all of these people come out of this briefing, and here is how House Speaker Mike Johnson described what he heard.
This is not a regime change. This is a demand for change of behavior by a regime. We have a way of persuasion because their oil exports, as you know, have been ceased, and I think that will bring the country to a new governance in very short order.
What do these words mean?
You know, I think the Republicans in particular are doing, they have to jump through a lot of verbal hoops right now, because I think Republicans are trying to justify what the president is doing and these actions, which really fly in the face of what the MAGA base really elected Donald Trump on, which was the idea that we're not going to get into endless wars and start this idea of nation building all around the world. And so I think when you see Mike Johnson, I've seen other Republicans join CNN as well. I think it's a lot of, you know, like trying to.
But if you basically have your naval fleet in position to use the oil and you have leverage with the government, are you effectively in charge?
Well, I think that really remains to be seen, because what does running the government of Venezuela look like? Because if we are running the government, that means we are running their entire process. I mean, think of the government that we run today. I mean, we're running their courts. Are we overseeing their election process? Donald Trump poured cold water on the idea that there's not going to be an election in 30 days. That's part of the Venezuelan constitution. So are we really running the government? I mean, that's also going to require law enforcement, which would mean boots on the ground. So
that we're going to ask Brian Zinke about later today, former Navy SEAL, someone who wore the boots.
What that looks like. But so running the country, I think, you can say those words, but in practice, what does that look like?
What does it look like? It looked like a lot of goddamn on money. We'll take boots on the ground for all that oil and all the resources they have over there. What? The minerals, the silver, whatever else they got over there. Gold, whatever they got, we got it now. Drugs, whatever they got is ours. That's all I'm saying. We want it. And we'll take boots on the ground for that, because it's going to create jobs over here, jobs over there. We'll take it. We'll have some vacations in Venezuela in 3 to 4 years. In the next 4 years, we'll have hotels in Venezuela. It'll be safe for us to enjoy the beaches and chill out in Venezuela. Watch and see.
And I think lawmakers on both sides of the aisles have questions about
that. So here's what I want to ask you guys. I feel like whenever there's military action, Lindsey Graham gets his wings. And here is what he had to say in recent hours about what he thinks should happen next.
No military in the world could have done it. You just wait for Cuba.
If someone was in my house and I had the most money in my house that I can't spend, I don't got no infrastructure to use the natural resources, all of the citizens are piss poor, and somebody is going to come in, take over from the corrupt regime that's running it, and probably build some hotels and things over there and put some infrastructure over there so they can actually make a livable wage in Venezuela. I think that's a benefit. Y'all act like y'all keep using this analogy of coming into your home. These people are being ran over. These people are not being done right. That guy was a dictator. So if Trump comes in and he increases things in Venezuela and he makes the quality of life better for the average everyday citizen, then who are we to complain about it? Yeah, we're going to take something, but y'all ain't looking at, they're going to get something. They're going to gain from this as well. The people, the Venezuelan people are going to gain from this. They are the ones that's happy.
Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered.
So I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that we make Iran great again.
When was Iran ever great? But they're going to make Iran. They done went after Iran, and now they got hats. Cuba is next, and now they going after Venezuela. Venezuela have been completely F since Chavez left office. I don't know why people keep saying this, saying as if those people over there are living so great. They're not. They don't live so great. And if they can improve the citizens' quality of life, then I think we should all be happy for that.
The list is getting longer. I just have to play this reaction from Rand Paul, who is occasionally good for a laugh. A Kentucky senator shout out. Here's what he had to say on Monday.
He said he really think Trump will make the quality of life better for them. Hell, it ain't better for us yet. The man only been in office for a year. He's finding out where all the money is being stolen and given away to other organizations and other groups. And that was done and set in place under the last administration. And I mean, Venezuelan people, they don't have no choice but to see. It's not going good for them now. The people that was in office, they have the most resources that they can't use. It's not like the people are benefiting from it. Those people are fucked up over there. And that's facts. So if Trump can do anything, he knows how to make money and create business. Whether you like him or not, he creates business and make money. And if he can get them to treat the Venezuelan people fairly, a little more fair, then yes, it could be a benefit. Drop the link. You tired of this shit? What you tired of? All we doing is just giving out theories. Venezuela is not a great place right now for the citizen.
Apparently, this attack's been under planning for 3 or 4 months, and so there's plenty of time to ask Congress's permission. I think it's disdainful.
See Graham's fingerprints and all this?
Yeah, there needs to be a law, and he needs to be banned from going to the White House.
Ban Lindsey Graham from the plane. But I was surprised to see him on the plane right there, right? Like, oh, what are we talking about? So
on the plane a lot.
Do
The
you-
Hawks are back, and the
Yeah.
GOP, they're here. They never left. I want to be clear.
They were lying in wait.
They were lying in wait. I mean, I think this is the DNA of the Republican Party. For good and for ill. It has always been something that people have seen them as very strong on foreign policy. The problem that we have at the moment, though, is not only just the lack of a plan, but also, here we have the Trump administration basically saying that they run Venezuela. And they're saying that they run Venezuela because they can do it through this threat of the Armada. So what is the plan here? That we're just going to leave the U.S. Navy and Marines off the coast of Venezuela interminably as sort of a Damocles sword over their head? And meanwhile, inside Venezuela, what we're seeing is an enormous amount of repression. We're seeing a consolidation of power with a new government that always happens, right? Because there are always internal divisions. There's a power vacuum. There are internal divisions. There are many different players within the Venezuelan elites. And so the Venezuelan people are the ones that are actually facing not regime change, not any actual change, but increased repression.
Yeah.
And who is dealing that out is the U.S. government. What does America stand for at this point? Are we now?
Let me bring in Ashley, because these are almost beat for beat the same questions that were asked about the Middle East and Iraq specifically. What do you think of those comparisons?
Well, first of all, I think we're like 2 or 3 days into this, so I think everyone needs to.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Kwame? How you feel, bro?
I'm just chilling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just checking out this what you got up here. I was looking it up myself. But I think the big picture people's not seeing or don't want to see is if you help these people over in Venezuela, because like you say, they're not living good at all. But if you fix it where they can at least make a good living, they wouldn't have no reason to come here.
I agree with that. That's a fact. Because it's beautiful over there if they can turn what they got into some revenue and really it affect the people. Because right now, them having all those resources don't affect the people.
Correct, because the so-called regime or whoever running the country is controlling it. It's not giving the people nothing.
Facts. What's going on, Cody?
Hey, what up, guys? How are you guys doing today?
Good. What's up?
Cool.
No, I totally agree with what Nathan was saying, and you, Kwame. They, if it was so great over there, why are 8 million Venezuelans all displaced from their homes? If they're all doing so great, why are they wanting to leave? They're all wanting to come over here, all wanting to just find a better place to live. They have all these resources, and that Maduro guy just came in and just left it to selling drugs and not caring about where the oil is going at the price that it should be going. They have tons of lithium. They have a lot of stuff, and they don't utilize none of it except for you just hear about the drugs or oil going to opposite places. And for us, like strategically as a country, that's on our side of the continent. We're the ones that we need them over here. We don't want China, Russia, Iran keeping a stronghold in an area where, like in Cuba, where they're like 98 miles away from Miami, all these other, it's strategic, not even just because of the oil, it's just placement militarily. And that's kind of how I feel about the situation. And Maduro is a horrible person. And when you got Ana Navarro coming out saying that Trump is good for this, then you're really winning.
That's a fact. I agree, man. Like, you got these places. That's why I don't understand why so many people are complaining. Cuba is right there. You can't have somebody right in our backyard setting up shop. You got to control those spaces. So I agree.
And then I think it's funny too how all these Democrat people are coming out. They have a reward for him and his other leaders, like $25 million. Like, go get them. That's what they were saying when Biden and them were in administration. Well, now that Trump actually did something about it, now they're all going to cry and complain and say it wasn't in international laws. Do you know that people don't understand what international laws mean? When you're a powerhouse like America, we control international law. Nobody controls international law around us. We control international law. These guys are frauds, dude.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, Cody, that they had put out a hit. The Biden administration had put out a hit on Maduro, and they never did anything about it. So now that Trump did it, now it's a big uproar.
TDS at its finest, Nathan. TDS at its finest.
I don't think it was a hit. I think it was a warrant. They put a $25 million. They upped it to $25
right, they
million.
put money on his head, right?
Yeah, they were trying to bring him in.
Yeah. What's going on, Truth Seeker? And we got Kobe Bryant Films up here too. What's up with y'all, fellas?
What's good, bro?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
What's up,
Checking everything out. Trying to hear different perspectives of what's going on. I've been to Colombia, South America. I've never been to Venezuela. Kind of interested. What type of touristic things will be there, like the beaches and like I hear they got Angel Falls, stuff like that. So I don't know.
They said Venezuela used to be a rich country before they, turned communist. So, maybe you could restore that and give them back their shit and, turn it over to the people and have them kind of rebuild everything. Because right now it's a mess, man. I heard the people were eating cats and all sorts of animals and shit. So they weren't living good. Anybody telling you that shit is a lie.
Oh boy, don't say that. They're gonna say Trump told them to say that.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with Trump, man. That's my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
And same thing, Trump wants to get all the oil going in that country, get it all utilized and active, and then start giving back to that country and back to us, of course, but all the Democrats are like, well, why are you not stepping in more? They got these people running, the dictators are still running the country. Well, you can't let these people in without setting a structure first. We have to get this structuralized first before we can just let another leader in that we don't know if they're going to run it correctly.
Well, the way the Democrat Party going, the Republicans going to be in there for a minute.
Now if they get some more machines, allegedly.
Ain't that fact? Hey, Kwame, that was a good point though. What you're talking about with the fraud, with the machines and stuff, because I could see that happening. I could see if Maduro was saying, hey, you know, I could tell you exactly how the 2020 election was rigged, then I can definitely see Trump saying, well, hey, you know, let
We
bygones
gotta
be
say
bygones.
allegedly. We gotta say allegedly because
Oh, my
it was
bad.
like
Allegedly,
yeah.
my bad. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you, Kwame, on that. That could be some inside shit right there.
We'll see. I mean, he was smiling. He walked in there smiling for somebody that's had a $25 million bounty on him. He talking about Happy New Year. I ain't saying that to nobody. Fuck your New Year.
That's for real.
And you know, this is a vacation for him. He eating good. You know what I'm saying? They taking care of him.
Yeah, he ain't
Hey.
eating cats.
He knows something I don't know because I wouldn't have gave a damn about your New Year. I just got locked up for the New Year shit.
Oh, damn. Too early.
Man, that nigga has his gang coming over here, taking over apartment complexes and shit, wilding out.
Oh, we're a nation of immigrants. We want those type of immigrants. One that just walk up and down steps with guns and collect rent with the pistols.
We're a nation of settlers. We're a nation of settlers, not immigrants.
Shit, I might have to join the Venezuelan gang, man. If that's how they get down, fuck that shit.
Hey, I think it's funny how that Colombia president, he's getting all cocky. You know, he's going to be the next one that he's going to get. You know, Cuba guy, he's kind of getting a little, you know, run his mouth a little bit. But that Colombia guy, he's just cruising for a bruising. They're going to come get his ass next.
They all cocky at first.
Exactly, until you fuck around and find out.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta grab a nigga by his ear, let him know this shit ain't gonna fly.
He gonna end up on a rooftop somewhere bleeding.
And then they always talk about Trump's wanting to be in wars, but he just jumps in for like 5 hours, then jumps back out. But then we're in Iraq for like fucking 10 years.
The never-ending wars. I want to know what Ilya Omar. I want to know if we're gonna send her brother effing behind back home. That's what I want to know.
Oh,
Where's she going?
I hope. I hope, man. That chick, she married her brother, you know, like saying how horrible United States is when Somalia is a horrible place. You know, it's just crazy.
Kwame, why you want to break up their family, man?
So the kids can come out with 2 good eyes and 2 have 10 fingers and 10 toes.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have feathers and scales on their shit.
I used to think them big ass foreheads and them eyes way apart like that was just the way they look, but it's a lot of incest over there in that damn country.
Genetics at its best.
Oh man, no.
Hey Kwame, you can't say that on January 6th now. You know we celebrating January 6th today.
What is today? Today's the 6th.
I wouldn't even think about January.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know about that.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, wow.
It's the new 9/11, man. Y'all tripping.
That's crazy.
But I don't know if any of you guys been to Minneapolis. That's little Somalia, man.
Oh, really?
Oh, very much so. Because what happened was, you know, like in the late 80s, a lot of blacks was migrating up to Minneapolis. But they was promising them food stamps and welfare. But Somalians came like in the early 90s. But they offered them
Yeah,
business
food
permits
stamps and
and
welfare
welfare.
wouldn't have got no black people to go nowhere.
Man, Kwame, I'm telling you, a lot of people, especially from Chicago, a lot of people went up there just because they was paying more in food stamps than they was paying here. They was paying more in food stamps up there than they was paying here. A lot of people from Chicago went up there just for that. And that's facts.
Nuh-uh.
I promise you. It's how naive it sounds.
Hey, them food stamps used to
How
hit back in the
ignorant
day.
it sounds. Believe me, you had some people doing it.
So they went to freeze for some food stamps, huh?
They
Man, you
were
got me
paying
crying
more.
laughing in the
Because if you
background.
remember,
I hope you're wrong.
I don't know
I
if you
hope you're wrong,
remember.
man.
I don't know if you remember. They were paying women extra money for each child they had.
Oh, okay.
Man, I hope
So,
you're
so
wrong.
if you had 5 kids and you went to Minnesota, you got
I
paid a
don't
certain
want. I don't
amount.
want to believe that. I just something about that
Kwame,
state.
I'm
I
telling
don't
you,
want.
man, it's crazy as hell, man. But I'm
So
telling you,
you
people
said for
was doing it, man.
For the struggling single mother, it was better for them to get money.
They'll
more money
move to
for the kids growing
Minnesota.
up.
Yeah, they'll move to Minnesota.
Okay.
That's why you got a lot of people from Chicago that migrated to Minnesota, Detroit, and other places, but especially Chicago.
Okay.
Ain't nothing worse than having everybody baby mama in the same state.
Oh.
Crazy.
I'm trying to get one in all 50 states.
Oh hell no!
You trying to be like Ludacris or something? Huh?
Ludacris got kids like that? I don't
No,
think
you
so.
know that area code.
No, that's our homeboy, Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon has like 10 kids.
Oh, okay. Check this one out. I think this is when the dude said what he said.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife remain in New York City prison, indicted on narco-terrorism charges.
All right, it follows a daring capture by U.S. Special Forces that was months in the making, involving CIA intel on the ground in Venezuela for months and ultimately carried out by Delta Special Forces.
GOP Senator Rick Scott sits on the Foreign Relations and Armed Services Committee, joining us now. And Senator, it's worth noting that you have led on calls for removing Maduro for years before any other politician was really talking about it. As best I can remember, you were in Miami with Venezuelan Americans yesterday. Tell us this morning your thoughts.
Well, when I got the call yesterday morning at 4:30 in the morning from Marco Rubio, I was excited. I mean, this has been a lot of work by a lot of people to keep the issue alive and make sure everybody understands exactly who Maduro was, an evil drug trafficker that destroyed the lives of so many Venezuelans and so many Americans. So my heart goes out to everybody that's put their effort into this. I want to thank President Trump, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth for what an unbelievable operation this was, that had the guts to do it, because so many people didn't have the guts to do this. I want to thank and big shout out to Maria Corina Machado. I mean, this lady has put her life on the line for years. Maduro wanted to kill her, and she fought and fought and fought. And so now it's, we've got to bring it to a transition till we get liberty and freedom. I'm confident that Marco Rubio's got a plan. We talked about it. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot of bad people that are in power down there still. But I believe good will prevail, and we will get freedom and liberty and for the Venezuelans.
Can I just follow up on that? Does that involve the Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez? Because she obviously seemed to be on board at the press conference, what we learned from the president, but then yet yesterday, she spent the afternoon on social media condemning the attack, demanding Maduro be freed.
I can't imagine that anybody that's part of the inner circle of Maduro will be in power. They had an election. Maduro's not the president of Venezuela. They had an election. Amado Gonzalez won. Maria Corina Machado would have won, but Maduro wouldn't let her on the ballot. So I'm optimistic. I don't think it's going to be easy. There's been a
This Maduro sounds like a swell fella, boy.
Aren't all communists?
I got some unfortunate news here in Atlanta. It's us again, y'all. I want y'all to just bear with me. This is some tragic news with a young kid getting shot. So they say the F the Streets movement is bad, but this is a 3-year-old. Looked like they got shot.
Unalived.
Unalive, right.
Accused in a DeKalb County shooting that critically injured a 3-year-old boy faced a judge this afternoon. Today's hearing came just 2 days after.
No, not unalive. I don't think so. Let's see it.
Police say they opened fire during a dispute at a gas station. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert was in the courtroom. Tyler is live outside the DeKalb County Magistrate Courthouse with the night's new details. Tyler?
Yeah, Tom, good evening to you. Prosecutors revealed this afternoon that the 3-year-old child was shot in the head. That news came as The suspects charged in connection with the shooting faced a judge for the first time.
It's not about guilt or innocence today.
During a virtual court hearing Tuesday afternoon, prosecutors revealed chilling new details about the shooting that left a 3-year-old critically wounded in DeKalb County.
The 3-year-old was struck in the head and is in critical condition. He may not survive, and if he does, it's become clear that he will face a lot of difficulties in his life going forward.
That news came as DeKalb County prosecutors fought to keep 21-year-old Julius Hughes, 20-year-old Jonathan Tate, and a 15-year-old locked up. Investigators say the shooting happened at around 7 p.m. Sunday night on North Stone Mountain, Lithonia Road.
One of the defendants had a problem with somebody at the gas station, so he went and picked up the other two, and they arrived and opened fire.
Prosecutors say police used technology to track the suspect's vehicle to a home. They said the trio was spotted getting back into the same vehicle just hours after the gunfire.
There was a traffic stop and an investigation in which one of the defendants was able to tell the officers what took place when he learned of the injury to the 3-year-old.
The state asked for the suspects to be held without bond. Hughes has no criminal history, but the other two do. Prosecutors say the teen has used guns in past alleged crimes. As for Tate, they say he was out on bond for a previous case. Tate's attorney says he needs to be released to take care of a family member because of his mom's medical issues.
He is the primary caretaker for his autistic brother.
The judge denied bond for Tate and the teen suspect, but granted Hughes a $35,000 bond, citing his lack of criminal history. As the investigation continues, DeKalb's police chief says they know for certainty the 3-year-old was not the intended target.
Let me be very clear. This child was an innocent victim. This incident was reckless, senseless, and completely unacceptable.
Prosecutors believe all 3 suspects did open fire. They're expected back in court within the next few months. We're live in DeKalb County tonight.
What y'all think about that? Open fire at a gas station over absolutely nonsense.
Where's the death penalty at? Where's the death penalty at? You need to start doing the death penalty more, man.
The thing I got out of that $35,000 bail for like maybe killing a kid. What is that?
I see Georgia has the same problem as Illinois. Their gun laws are terrible. They let people out who committed crimes.
Hold on, what's all that noise that's rattling?
I don't know who that is. They let these people out who committed crimes, and they come right out and repeat the same crime. You got to lock these people up.
It's not the gun laws, it's the police have been complaining about that for the longest. It's this soft on crime thing that they're doing everywhere now. The police do their job, lock them up, and they get a bond or they get out easy. You unalive somebody, get a bond now. Back in the day, you didn't get out until you got to your trial.
But $35,000 for bail, where that shit should have been like $200,000. Like
you should get no bail.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, the reason why they started the bail thing because some people would be innocent and they spend 22 months in lockup, and then they get to trial, and it turns out that they were acting in self-defense or they were innocent, and that's 22 or 24 months or 22 months of their life gone. So I do understand it got to be some type of happy medium when it comes to that. But I think it should be an independent investigation or arbitrator that comes in, look at each individual shooting and why, and then that determines bail. Because this situation right here shouldn't be no bail. But a situation where a citizen is protecting themselves, I can see where it could be a bail.
And Kwame, how many of those situations do you think are like that? Meaning like people, I know there's a lot of people in jail that are innocent or whatever, but I'm saying like these days, like how many do you think, or do you think it's a high percentage of that actually going on or a lower percentage of that going on?
It's a high percentage depending on who it is, because there's a situation here where a Ludacris manager he was getting beat up, pummeled out in front of his club. And then he pulled out a weapon and defended himself and shot one of the guys. He went to jail, got arrested, and he had a higher bond than that.
Yeah.
And he got attacked. So that's crazy.
Yeah, shocker. Yep.
Yeah.
And I also feel like this kind of stuff, we get numb to it. Like with so many shootings happen every day, sad to say, this will be forgotten tomorrow. And that's the sad thing about it. Nobody will be talking about this tomorrow. What was that shooting in California at that birthday party? They're like 7 people got shot or killed or something like that. Do you hear them talking about that anymore? Do you hear them saying that they found a suspect or anything? None.
Yeah, but you shoot a kid, bro. Like to me, like you harm a child, bro. Death penalty should be on the table. It should be automatic.
For
Because
sure.
you have to send the message. You have to send the message at this point. It's like, yo, you can't, like, y'all just shooting blindly with no aim, no training, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, they terrorizing neighborhoods. It's pretty bad.
And they actually shot a kid and like 4 other people in that deal. And I haven't heard nothing talk about it for, like I said, like 2 weeks.
You won't.
No, I know, and that's sad, you know. Supposedly the dad's kind of seen the guy, but they don't have any information. Nobody in the house, nobody in that whole place seen a thing.
But see, you got to think too. We have a false ideology talk about, you don't tell. See,
Yeah, that's all bullshit.
That's why a lot of our crimes don't get solved, because we got to think, well, I ain't snitching. But let something happen to your family. You want somebody to tell.
Yeah. I mean, it's based off of fear. A lot of people don't tell out of fear. I mean, I am, when it comes to my family or in things like that. But a lot of people try to stay out of other people's business, I guess. But we are supposed to be a community, so.
And that whole word snitch, I think that word is so stupid, just because a real snitch is somebody that if you get caught up with them or you go down with them, that's a snitch when you're snitching on that person that you went down with. If you're getting shot at or you're getting killed or whatever, that's not being a snitch.
Yeah, that's a gangster term. That used to just apply to like gangsters.
Yeah.
No snitching rule. It didn't really apply to like neighborhood regular people.
Right.
Shit, I don't want to live in a community where a kid gets shot and we can't discuss it.
Me neither.
Yeah, you couldn't live in Chicago then. You couldn't live in Chicago.
Well, I'm living next to Karen. Anybody get shot, she could tell it. So.
Yeah, Kwame, you hear that high scream? You already know the cops been called. That high scream.
But you like neighbors like that though. You like neighbors like that.
Facts.
Yeah. You like neighbors like that.
Now they nosy as hell, but it's a trade-off.
That's all right. Right. That's all right.
My neighbor ain't nosy no more. I done passed the test. You know what I'm saying? My neighbor know who I am. They know I got a big truck. I'm loud, but they know I'm no threat.
But they still look out for your stuff though, I bet.
Fast as hell.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody pulled in your driveway. I ain't seen that car over there before, but I wrote the tag number down for you.
Right.
Hey, I bet JD Vance was hoping that he lived next to a Karen. They'd have got that fool earlier.
That's crazy, man. And they want to talk about the Republicans.
But Kwame, like what you said, where's the protection? How could somebody get so close to a vice president's house?
I have no idea. I would think that wouldn't be possible, but I believe that they're going to make some different changes after.
Yes, sir.
They better.
Well, y'all check this out. This is the demands that Trump and the United States laid out for Venezuela.
Let's hear it.
He's killed millions of people. He's tortured. They have a torture chamber in the middle of Caracas that they're closing up.
Killed
he's
millions.
tortured people. And
President Trump there this morning after the arrest over the weekend of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. The president is now warning the leaders of Colombia, Mexico, Cuba. And a new opinion piece highlights the geopolitical importance of this moment. Quote, by ousting Maduro, Trump has begun to liberate the country while striking at the heart of the axis between Russia, China, and Iran, and providing more democracy, oil, and security to our friends in the Western Hemisphere, end of quote. One of the president's next targets may be Colombian President Gustavo Petro. Trump has said it also involves the cocaine trade there. Petro responded that he would take up arms if the U.S. attacks his country and told the president directly, come and get me, I'm waiting. Now remember, those are the last words of Nicolas Maduro in the back of that car right before they took him. Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Jackie.
Harris, the president says the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela, but he expects U.S. forces will remain in the region for a period of time. There's not a lot of urgency to hold new elections because first, the president wants to revitalize Venezuela's oil industry, which he estimates could happen in less than 18 months. This coming week, Energy Secretary Chris Wright is expected to meet with oil executives to hear out their concerns for securing their investments, given the country's history of political instability and also nationalizing natural resources. Speaking to members of Congress this morning at the newly rebranded Trump Kennedy Center, the president touted this operation as a massive success and a display of American might that adversaries should take note of.
But the United States proved once again that we have the most powerful, most lethal, most sophisticated, and most fearsome. It's a fearsome military on planet Earth, and it's not even close. I've been saying it for a long time. Nobody can take us.
Analysts say this administration made a calculated choice to work with the remnants of the Maduro regime, the interim president now, Delcy Rodriguez, rather than depose the government and the remains of the Maduro regime, which would likely require troops on the ground. President Trump said Cuba could likely fall next because it has been financially sustained by Venezuela, and he fired a warning shot at neighboring Colombia, whose president responded, as you mentioned, Harris, with a threat to take up arms. Now, Democrats have largely condemned Maduro's arrest as an act of war without congressional authorization, something the president and his allies have said they just can't understand.
We want everything. But they say that when you win the presidency, you lose the midterm. I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on with the mind of the public, because we have the right policy. They don't. They have horrible policy. They do stick together. They're violent. They're vicious. They're vicious people. And they stick together like glue.
The president emphasized that Republicans should do well in the midterms if they can get on message about touting their successes and stick together. Harris.
Jackie, thank you. The U.S. State Department has posted a powerful image of the president yesterday with this caption: "This is our hemisphere, and President Trump will not allow our security to be threatened."
I'm sorry, this is what I want my president to look like, not somebody falling off a damn bike and getting helped down the steps by his wife.
Man, you was playing that. I wanted to laugh so hard.
I got a quick question.
I had to go on mute.
I got a question. Quick question. So they killed millions? Like how many millions?
Killed millions and displaced 8 million.
Millions.
Oh, nah, no billions.
I said millions.
Yeah, they did kill millions, and they displaced 8 million people.
Okay, displacing and killing is two different things.
Yeah, true. I don't think they killed millions.
That's crazy.
Let's change that K word to unalive, because they're gonna
unalive.
Be triggering the algorithm.
Hey, hold on. I gotta freaking the chat thinks I'm gonna tell on people. So I was just telling the chat what a definition of snitch was. Everybody's like, I can't rob a bank with Cody. He'll tell on me, bro. I ain't telling on nobody. These guys.
Oh boy, we got a junkie in the background that's stalking. What about the Epstein files? I hope they release all of them unredacted. That's the only thing that I don't like about what the administration did. They need to send those files out unredacted, no matter who's in them. Just put them out.
I think we need to get to the bottom of that shit, because that's not a small thing, and a lot of people are acting like that's a small thing. We do need some answers with those Epstein files. He had too much money and too much influence to just stop asking about it. So
my question is, why don't the victims just come on out, since they don't want to act right? Why don't they just come on out and say who did what and who did this?
Because they ain't trying to get unalive. Yeah, they ain't trying to get unalive.
I know that, right?
Yeah, they're not, because that's what's going on. Is everybody's getting unalive that's going against what the mainstream of the powers that be are saying and doing. And so that's why what Trump is doing is important. Hell, he almost got unalive, and he got the protection of the Secret Service. He almost got unalive almost twice. So that should tell you how dangerous it is to tell the truth.
Yeah.
This part right here.
I mean, at some point, your victim's voice have to be sounded. Like, as far as the truth has to be told. Like, I mean, you can't let fear shut us up especially when it comes to like lies and truth. Like, I mean, we're proponents of truth speaking and seeking, right?
Would you rather know about the Epstein files, or would you rather have affordability in our country?
I mean, affordability.
The Epstein file.
I could really care less about the
She said the Epstein file.
Man, they abducting kids and all that.
I get you.
And torturing them.
100%.
And you got these powerful people that we'll be able to change the system if we find out about the Epstein file.
See, but you just said
I don't think they're gonna ever do nothing about it though, because there's too many powerful players in it.
You just said the magic word, power people.
But no, that when the rabbit hole go that deep, they usually find somebody to blame and they bury the story with that person. They just haven't buried this one because so many people are asking about it. But the people that's involved in this stuff are so powerful, and there's never going to be a resolution to that. Well, let's get this finished.
Right.
In focus now, Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State and Fox News contributor. You're hearing some things like the Monroe Doctrine, a lot of things. Welcome to the program. As we come in, I want to get your thoughts on our hemisphere.
Yes, what happened, goodness, now just over 50 hours ago was really important for America and for our hemisphere. Frankly, as you pointed out in your opening, for the whole world, we demonstrated once again that President Trump, when American interests are at stake, right? Narco trafficking into our country, killing millions of Americans, all the terror that had flown through Venezuela from the Chinese, the Russians, and the Iranians. When American interests are at stake, President Trump will act in a way that doesn't deploy thousands of American troops for years. Instead, uses our military very effectively to protect and defend the things that matter most to Americans. It was not only a successful military operation, but I think will prove to have been an important operational and tactical operation on top of that.
And maybe, and I mentioned this just moments ago as an aside, you headed up the CIA and maybe some tactical mistakes by Maduro riding around in a moving car just before he was taken. I mean, giving them a GPS dream. Anyway, Politico was reporting that U.S. officials have given Venezuela's new acting president a list of demands now because she wants to stay in place. She's officially the acting president after having been the vice president, her old boss, Maduro. Here are the demands: cracking down on the drug flow, kicking out Iranian and Cuban and other networks that are hostile to the U.S., stopping oil sales to the U.S. adversaries, and to eventually facilitating a free election and stepping aside. Your take?
The most important part with what was said was stopping oil to the U.S. adversaries, meaning China, Russia, and anybody else that got a problem. Iran. This is a power play.
Facts. And if she doesn't,
That's the exact right list. I know Delcy Rodriguez. I know Pedrino, the head of the military. I'd worked with them, talking to them through our intermediaries when I was a CIA director and Secretary of State. These are committed Chavistas. These are people who believed in Maduro and his model because they were beneficiaries of it. They had nice lives, beautiful homes, all of that. If we can apply enough coercive power against them and convince them to behave in a way that delivers against those objectives, this will have been an enormous strategic victory on top of the tactical operational success. But that's the task ahead. I'd just remind folks who are already screaming that this hasn't happened fast enough. This is 25 years of Maduro. It is not going to happen in 25 hours or even 25 days. We need to have a little bit of patience, and then we need to make sure we hold accountable the new leadership in Venezuela. And we will get to elections. There'll be a right moment for that. The reason the Venezuelan people are cheering, both inside the country and Venezuelans who have had to abandon their countries, because they know that this now has unlocked an enormous opportunity, and the hard work ahead has to be delivered on. And when it is, that joy can be real and sustained, and a prosperous Venezuela can lead to a much more secure America here in our own hemisphere.
Really quickly, the one thing that's not mentioned by name on that list are the drug cartels. And I don't know if Delcy Rodriguez can contain or sustain in conditions under that kind of pressure, because they are real.
Harris, this is the reason the president talks about Costa Rica, Mexico, right? These cartels are very powerful political players in each of those countries as well. You're precisely right to focus on that. She is going to have to figure out a way to take them down, keep herself alive at the same time. This is the challenge, but take them down. And this is what has to happen in each of these countries to protect not only their people and the horrible kleptocracies inside of their country, the narco terrorists, but keep Americans safe as well from these drugs flowing into our country.
And my quick follow, as promised, are those countries willing to work together? Will you see President Sheinbaum in Mexico, and will we work with them to root out those cartels?
They have to. They have to, not only for our sake, because I think we all demand that of it, but they have to do it for their own sake and for the sake of their own people as well. This is not about America imposing its will. It's about America assisting them in getting back the opportunity for their people to live in peace and prosperity, not under the jackboot of the narco terrorists inside of their own countries as well. I think President Sheinbaum understands that. I hope that she'll get there quickly.
Mike Pompeo, it is always great to have your expertise. Happy.
Now, I like that framing better. We're going to help you fix your country so that you don't have to keep trying to run to this country.
Facts.
Wait, that's
what
Pompeo?
I just said?
That's Pompeo? He don't look like Pompeo. Damn.
Uncle Charles, what's up, bro?
What's happening, y'all? I'm going to say this, Kwame. I mean, KB, I'm going to say this. This is about power. This is about oil. This is about what it is. See, you got to understand something. Gaddafi went through the same thing, too. See, Gaddafi didn't want to do what President Bush wanted him to do. So what did he do? He went to Syria and dropped bombs on his punk ass, and he got away. Years passed by, and they've been wanting Gaddafi ass for a long time. So what did they say? Gaddafi wanted to get communications for Africa. So what? So how do you do that? You got to cut out some people out the deal. So you cut Europe out the deal, and you cut United States out the deal. United States said, "Oh fuck no, you ain't cutting us out the deal." And Europe said, "You ain't cutting us out the deal either." So what did they do? They came on TV and said Gaddafi is killing his people. He's doing all this and doing that. Did you know in Syria that you can get free health care, and when you got married, you got a free apartment? Yes, he was a ruler. Yes, he was fucking folks up. He was whooping ass because he's a ruler. He's not like a regular president. If you doing something you ain't got no business doing, I'm gonna take all your clothes off you and I'm gonna fuck you up. This is how he was. See, they warned him. They said, Gaddafi, you're not gonna cut us out. Gaddafi said, no, I'm gonna go get a satellite and I'm gonna change the currency of our money. So we don't have to do business with you. So what did they do? They put CIA agents on the ground and turned his people against him. And they drug his ass through the street. One of them put their foot up in his ass, and before anybody else could get him, they couldn't get the foot out of his ass. It took about 20 minutes, but they did. But the fuck they did. And so what did they do? They got his own people to turn on him and beat his ass 6 ways to Sunday. This is not a game. This is not a game. Hussein, they did him the same way. It wasn't no damn master stroke. It wasn't no weapons on the damn ground. Just Hussein wanted to do what the hell he wanted to do. So what did they do? So Hussein, we're gonna stop you. So we'll kill your sons and figure you'll get the message. No, he didn't get the message. So they started dropping bombs on Iraq. And he went and crawled his ass in a hole. Now let me explain something to you. When you finally catch this man, he dirty, he funky, nasty. And I seen that man put that thing in his mouth. And the man said, man, go ahead and close your mouth. Because your breath smell like some hot ass. So what did they do? They fixed his funk ass up, put him some clean clothes on, took his ass to that damn rope, and they hung his punk ass. This is what they do. This is about power. This is about greed. And see, China is mad. North Korea is mad. China said, if you fire a shot at us, you won't get a chance to fire a second shot. We'll shut your grid down. It'll be dark all over the world. Well, let me tell you something, Chin. If you do that, you'll make it easy enough for us to come over there and get your funk ass. We'll get you next. This is not a game. You want to, with the United States, we got something to set the whole world on fire. And your ass won't be around anymore either. So let me explain. Let me say this in closing for you foreign leaders. Once you get into bed with someone and it don't work out, or they didn't light your fire, or they didn't knock the shoes off your motherfucking ass, don't get mad because you took a chance just like they took a chance. You thought it was going to be something, and it really wasn't. So now we're going to kick your ass out the bed and get somebody else that will lay in the bed with us. This is not a game. And that's all I got to say, and I appreciate you.
Right. So are you saying this is propaganda or what?
He went everywhere.
I think one thing that I do agree with Charles, I feel like they should have street justice. Like we should have grabbed Maduro out of his little freaking mansion or whatever it was and let the people, his own people, deal with his ass. That's one thing I do agree with what Charles was talking about.
Okay. But so I was kind of confused. Was it like propaganda that he said? Like that's the charges that's
I don't know, because what he was saying about Gaddafi, that was all wrong, what he was saying.
About
Gaddafi was a
the
really bad
creation of the new currency.
That was all wrong what he was saying about Gaddafi.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where he was going with the Gaddafi thing. If he was
Yeah,
supporting him or not.
he was wrong. He was wrong what he talked about, the people of the street, people of his country beat him up or whatever, put their foot in his ass and all that. That's not true.
He probably had a little satire in there a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was the joking part of it.
Definitely.
Okay.
The foot up the behind was the joking part, but he did get unalived by his own people.
Yeah.
And he deserved it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we only get the news that they give us, so we can only go by.
Well, the United States wanted to, they pay us to protect them, to protect their oil. So once they started trying to create their own dollar and cut us out, man, that's a big no-no right there. You know what I mean? That's big money right with that oil.
But one thing he wasn't lying about, it is a propaganda for that oil. That's one thing was true.
Mm-hmm.
But that's with anything.
Yeah, it's a lot of propaganda.
That's with anything. The United States is not going to get involved unless it's something they can get out of it.
Right.
It's always been like that.
Right.
See, what we don't know, we got the most corrupt media in the world. So
100%.
a lot of us, we watch the news all the time. They be lying like a motherfucker on the news.
All day
So,
long. All day long.
You know, they'll justify what they want to justify and who they
The
want to
weapons of mass destruction.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that was bull jive there.
That was crazy.
100%.
A lot of innocent people got killed over that, and it's wrong. And a lot of people are demonized. People from different religious backgrounds and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, I can say this: us as African Americans or Black colored people, we kind of used to that of being painted in a bad picture through the media. Like they'll highlight like us in a bad light, like the few instead of the many. You know what I mean? So I look at the news with a side eye most of the time. So I mean, it's a lot of things they're not telling us. So I try not to get caught up emotionally without having all the factual information.
Well, that's why I never got mad when Trump attacked the press or the CIA or whatever. Because if you think about it, in history, they've been tormenting us, Black people, for the longest. The FBI, all them.
Right.
They've been tormenting us for it. But so when Trump started doing them, shoot, I got my popcorn, sat back, had my swagger. I was enjoying the show.
All right, let's look at this with Adam Schiff.
Go along with Donald Trump on Venezuela. Americans will pay the price in blood and in treasure, while Republicans could very well pay the price politically.
This wasn't a law enforcement action. They're lying to the American people when they say that. It was an unprecedented military action.
This all started in early September around drugs. Never mind that, the drugs that kill Americans are fentanyl, not the cocaine that comes out of Venezuela. But look, I think you have to take the president at his word. 22 times in his press conference did he use the word oil.
Okay, there's a sample, right? Big name Democrats blasting the arrest of Maduro. Some on the left reportedly think the party should be celebrating the move. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, member of the Armed Services Committee, Republican. Senator, welcome back to our program here. This is Chuck Schumer then, February 2020, and this is him last night. Roll this.
And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began. When the United States engages in this kind of regime change and so-called nation building, it always ends up hurting the United States. I left the briefing feeling that it would again.
Okay, apparently that briefing was in depth, and it went almost 2.5 hours. Hard to keep the other side happy, I guess, Senator. What's your view on that?
Bill, what you have is Democrats. They're not America policy. They're not America first policy. They're not for pro-America. They're for politics. I mean, obviously, you see Chuck Schumer, that is the biggest hypocrite that I've ever been around in my life, who is contradicting himself just 5 years ago, because that speech that he gave was in 2018. You also have Dick Durbin that gave the similar speech at the similar time in 2018. You have Tim Klein, who said the exact same thing. And Chris Murphy, who came out, and I'll read it to you, said, quote, "Getting rid of Maduro is good for the United States." That was in 2019. Now, it's anti-good for America, and that it's about regime change. We know for a fact that Maduro was running drugs into the United States and was killing our friends and our family members, poisoning our states. And for Jim Hines to go out there and say that cocaine isn't killing people, it's fentanyl, I'm going, excuse me? I'm sorry, cocaine isn't tearing apart families. Cocaine hasn't tore apart families for decades now. How ridiculous is someone to say something like that because of their hatred for President Trump? How about we stop the politics and do what's right for America first? But the Democrats are incapable of doing that.
Okay, apparently behind closed doors, it might be a different conversation. I say that because of this quote from Axios. Democrats fume at their party's response to Maduro capture. Some Dems grumble at their party's largely oppositional stance to Trump's raid to capture Maduro, saying privately that their colleagues should be celebrating. So, I mean, that's in the water, as we say a little bit. I think the more relevant question now, what's happening inside Caracas? What's happening in all these towns and villages throughout Venezuela? It's kind of a blind spot right now, unless you've got information that could illuminate a little bit as to what's happening there today.
Well, Jim, first of all, Democrat leadership is the one that's taking the role. If their members aren't agreeing with them, then they need to come out and get in front of the camera and say so. Now, going back to what's happened in Venezuela, what we have done is we gave the Venezuela people an opportunity to get back to democracy that they lost 25 years ago when the dictatorships first started. And we are closely watching it. We don't have military on the ground, but we have eyes on the ground paying attention, wishing the best for the Venezuela people. They're going to be the one making the decision here. And we want to restore democracy back in Venezuela. Obviously, I think what President Trump is doing here and what the administration is doing here is looking at the Western Hemisphere and saying we need to take care of our own backyard. Man, I am excited about it. He's the first president to do this in decades, and he's putting America first, which is exactly what we need to do because we're seeing socialism creep way too close to us. I mean, we see what's happening in New York right now. We see what's happening in Central and South America. And for President Trump to take a strong stance and saying, one, you're not going to poison our streets, you're not going to continue bringing the drugs in, but we're also going to be watching at the politics perspective too.
Okay, Senator, thank you for coming back here and waiting to hear the president too. That's coming up
Thanks,
momentarily. Mark Wayne Mullen, thank you very much. The Republican.
What do y'all think on that one?
I'm tired of this political party shit, man. I wish we could just do away with the political parties. I know it's not going to happen, but I mean, it's too much like people trying to stop us from getting shit done. It just feel like we ain't never gonna do nothing, about nothing. We ain't never gonna fix nothing. It's just all talk.
100% agree. I totally agree with that. There's never accountability on either side, and it does bother me. But you know who I think is hilarious? You know, the president of Mexico, she's being quiet as a church mouse. She knows, we all know where all the drugs are coming from. A lot of them are coming from Mexico, you know? But you don't hear the president of Mexico popping off at the mouth very much.
Yeah, and they getting theirs from China, but we make too much money to go after China.
Yeah,
we make too much money with them. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how long Trump been on this stopping these guys in Venezuela.
Hold on, I think we already going after China. We just can't go at China, a powerhouse with nuclear capabilities, head up. We're going after them with this Venezuela and this Cuba move, and this Mexico move. We're gonna mess up some of that money. We get Mexico, Cuba, and Venezuela under control. That messes up that messes up their oil supply, and that messes up a large supply of their money.
Facts. Yeah.
I don't know where you guys live at, and I don't know how long Trump been checking these guys out of Venezuela, these drug guys. But have you noticed
about 6 months
about less deaths or people dying from fentanyl lately?
I haven't seen the statistics.
About dying from fentanyl, because I know, like, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I know about 4 people in my neighborhood died of fentanyl. And
yeah, shit. If I was a drug dealer, I'd freeze too. I wouldn't do shit until Trump get out. I'll be waiting like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I have a 3-year hiatus, a 3-year vacation. Hey, the feds are tripping, man. My friend, Trump and the feds are bullshitting. We going to Bali, my friend. We'll be back in 3 years. Fuck that.
Yeah, nigga
underlay, Bali.
But one thing that's crazy, none of my dudes have problems on re up, so I don't know like what's going on.
They went from saying you was a snitch to now you about to get yourself a RICO case. Damn.
He showed snitching.
Now the nigga kingpin and shit.
He said his friends. Oh man, wow.
Hey, when trying to be down goes wrong, your ass gonna get 30 years playing around.
Nah, nothing to worry about.
Okay. If you say
all right, fella, somebody go eat me some dinner, man. I'm starving, man. Y'all have a blessed night, man. I appreciate y'all.
Everybody have a good day.
All right,
everybody. Peace.
All right, peace,
all
bro.
right. Peace. Salute to your chat. Appreciate y'all, man. Another good one, man. I'm up out of this thing. I'm gone.
Later.